Good day, Sandbox people. How you doing? Now, last week we discussed the insane hype we were seeing with Sandbox skins. Suddenly, everybody wanted to buy the skins. Counter-Strike market, they are noticing, they are getting interested, and apparently even the crypto market. So it's been a week since we've posted this. What happened? Have some interesting things popped up? Have some interesting changes happened? Well, I thought, I should go ahead, do a nice little follow-up video. It's not going to be as insane and long compared to this video, but you'll be interested with how things have developed, basically. The general gist was the hype justified? The main thing I kept saying was genuine demand. But we can't see genuine demand until we actually see the game being released. And that's still a good 2 weeks to go. So, okay, well, does that mean the hype was justified then? No, it honestly looks as if it was just fear of missing out. However, we're probably not going to see any sort of major reaction now until the actual release. So, let's just quickly point out some interesting things that, of course, have happened over the past week or so. So, let's switch back over to here because, of course, we're still waiting for the game to actually release. Quite a lot of people have found out they've had their access revoked. So let's switch over to here, to the most recent Sandbox blog post. And as you can see, developer preview is now closed. Thank you for everyone that has helped us during this period. The developer preview is now closed. And that went on for years. Now, apparently, quite a lot of people still managed to keep their game. So out of 800,000 people who joined the developer preview, 40,000 people get to keep it. Are you one of them? Feel free to comment below. Basically, the people who got to keep it were developers who have published games people have played, anyone who has purchased any cosmetics, and anyone who has played a good amount and actually opened the game this year. So, okay, thank you very much. All is good. But how much have you bought overall, and how much have you bought over the past, let's say, 2 weeks? If anything, over the past 2 weeks, how much have you sold? I stayed strong, and I didn't want to cave in, so I didn't sell. Probably should have, because have you seen the prices for the skins recently? Now, since last week's video, quite a lot of skins still improved, but we have noticed that it definitely seems to have climaxed around the end of last weekend. So now I'm going to go ahead and showcase to you some newer websites that have appeared recently that you might take interest in. So one thing I didn't really touch up on with the video last week, it's nice to have the Counter-Strike investors jumping in as well. But we still need to see third-party sites actually want to trade Sandbox skins as well. That's one thing I never actually brought up. So I guess if you're involved with third-party sites, maybe you might want to consider speaking to the staff and say, hey, are you ever going to consider trading and, buying and selling Sandbox skins? Maybe it might be worth an ask. Anyway, let's switch over to here. So last week, we looked at Sandbox charts. As you can see here, I can see basically all the skins, and you'll notice over the past 7 days, we have noticed quite a bit of a drop-off. However, consider this. It seems, on average, nearly every single skin at least doubled in price. However, since then, they've gone down. They're still better than where they were like a month ago, it seems. So we've got some nice examples to go ahead and showcase to you, but as much as you might sit there and say, oh no, I've missed out, I mean, if you own these skins for a very long time already, you're still winning. But could we still see any notable changes in the lead up to the 28th? We've still got 10 days to go, so, well, by the time you're watching, it might be about 9, we'll see. Anyway, so Steam Sandbox charts, this is a nice website to get a good look at. It'll show statistics and whatnot. I just wanted to make a big point that, hey, I've been using this site. It's quite insightful, and it gives you a nice visual of what's happened over the past, well, the whole existence, well, at least until they've been tracking it. So this is, oh, wow, March 1st, really? No, March 19, 20, beginning of April, look at that. Now, what I should also go ahead and showcase to you is the Steam charts. You should see with your own eyes the amount of people that suddenly started getting involved with Sandbox. Boom. So Steam Charts keeps tracks of how many people are playing, well, Sandbox and all the other games on Steam. For a very, very, very long time, not too many people were playing because, again, they needed to have developer access. I'm not sure if I was one of the influential people, but suddenly, around March time, just like a month ago, we went from about 500 people and we peaked at one point at around 12 to 13,000 people. And again, you had to go through a few hoops just to actually manage to get in. And right now, 496 people are still currently in there. So, okay, that's pretty impressive. But what matters most? How many people are actually going to get a hold of this game when it releases? How many people will be consistently playing on it? Again, technically speaking, whilst you can also make games in it, it's also technically its own platform. We need to see games that are actually utilizing these skins so that we can see genuine demand for the skins. If there are lots of games on Sandbox that don't even bother using the skins that are available, where's the justification to own them? And this is where genuine demand matters. So yeah, we've seen tons of hype so far, but if there's no home for those skins, don't be surprised they drop off. Right then, so let's hop back over to here because Sandbox Charts isn't the only place. I'm sure many of you are fully well aware of Scmm. Yeah, good look at that. There's also a bunch of like useful things to be aware of, like the statistics here as well. It's all available. Give it a good look. I'm sure many of you have already used this as well because Sandbox is useful. Scmm Sandbox section is useful because I can just buy multiples of these skins very easily. I click buy, I tell it how much I want to buy, and then, yeah, you get the idea. If you go through the store in-game, or at least on the actual site itself, which we'll showcase to you again in a second, you have to do it one at a time. Not fun, but I can buy multiples this way. Useful, very useful. Now, what I also want to showcase to you is Sandbox.Dev. This is a newer site made by someone who technically works for FacePunch. This is technically an official site. It's not actually an official site, but it's probably the closest it's going to be. If you know Rust Help, made by Hopple, if you know, you know. Okay, yeah. So basically, we already have a website called Rust Help. It's very similar to Scmm, and again, made by Hopple. He works for FacePunch. Yeah, so cool, understood. This is another website that will keep you informed of what's limited and what's not rotating out. I thought that might be very helpful for people to be aware of. You know, maybe you don't want to buy out these skins because you don't know when they're going to actually get removed, but these are the skins. These are the cosmetics you want to get a good look at. You might recall we had some Easter skins. Well, they're gone now. How much do you reckon they sold? In last week's video, I was trying my best to imply and point out maybe it's selling a little bit too much. I hope I got that point across. I didn't explicitly say it, but I was quite literally pointing out, is there enough people playing this game compared to the amount that have sold? So whilst we're here, let's just look at Sandbox.Dev's statistics. Oh, market activity, market cap. This is going to be a very useful thing to be aware of. Like, I'm sure many of you are fully well aware. Counter-Strike, that's in the billions. It's like $5 billion in total. Sandbox, 11 million. So, I mean, we're getting there. Early March, we're looking at less than 5 million. Fairly recently, we've gone over 10 million. When the game actually releases, ooh, how far will it go? How high could it rise? Keep an eye out, all right? By the way, I should have scrolled down because, as you can see here, it will keep you informed of which skins have been performing very nicely in the past 24 hours, the past 7 days, the past 30 days. You get the idea. And, of course, the opposite, what has lost the most in the past 24 hours, past 7 days, past 30 days. So, yeah, that might be pretty insightful. Might be pretty interesting. But then look at advanced statistics. You can see it in real time how things are played out. Lots of hype. And it drops off. So, yeah, we did have a noticeable drop-off. In fact, that's recent. This is staying up to date like every 10 seconds. If I could change it to the past week, there you go. This is what I actually meant to showcase. It was very similar. That was weird. Anyway, so whilst we rose up very nicely last week, At around the 13th to the 14th, it started to slide downwards. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call it a crash. It was everyone who bought these the previous week decided, you know what, the prices are insane, I'm going to sell mine now. A lot of people did decide to sell. So at least you are aware of that. Cool. And yeah, all the sites that I'm showcasing to you will be listed in the description, so you can always go back and just grab them. And you can always stay informed of how things are, and you can always be aware of what's currently available. Cool. Lovely. And so, yep, there's Sandbox charts. We have it twice for some reason, so let me just close that. Here is the official online store. I certainly do hope we will be able to buy multiples in the future. It wouldn't surprise me if this gets changed and revamped. If you've seen the difference between this and the online Rust store, yeah, so keep an eye out. Do not be surprised if that gets changed in the future. Cool. Now I need to talk about the Easter things again, so let's just refresh. Let's just make sure we're fully up to date. I can confirm to you the Easter content, Easter Bunny Hat 2026, Easter Bunny Nose 2026, both of them sold over 30,000 sales in total. So this discussion, did it sell far too much in comparison to the amount of people playing? Did it sell far too much compared to the actual potential demand? As I said just a little bit earlier, right now there's only about 500 people playing this. Now again, we can't give you a solid answer because we don't know how many people are going to turn up on the 28th of April. I don't know how many people are going to be playing in May 2026, June 2026, July 2026, 2027, 2028. The amount of sales we see here, it would be fine if we saw similar numbers that we see in Rust. So let me go ahead and point this out to you because, of course, I'm always yapping about Rust and whatnot. We're seeing comfortably over 100,000 people per month, per day, basically, right? So if I was to see maybe, or I don't know, 30,000 sales or so, that would be justified. If the skin is in demand, the price will hold. It will stay in the positive. Case in point. I might have bought 50 of them. You probably can tell why. Anyway. So when we eventually get to the point where we see stable numbers, then it's going to be pretty easy to figure out whether a skin is selling far too much. And I will have to say, by default, we can't really judge the Easter stuff yet. But based on the position that we're in at the moment, that does seem quite absurd, doesn't it? And this is why you should keep an eye on this, because, of course, there's still some things like the lucky helmet there. I don't want to say the name because I might get in trouble. We've still got the chain. They have sold quite a lot. But with the sales we see here, is it going to be minuscule compared to what we see in the future? Or is it going to be absurd compared to what we see in the future? Does Sandbox even have a future? Don't want to sound mean, but you've got to consider these things. You can't just assume everything's going to succeed. But I would reasonably respect that I can see Sandbox working out quite nicely. But to what extent? Again, you've got to be pretty cautious with the sales. Maybe wait it out. I'm sure you're fully well aware. The skins that rotate and rotate out, right? So let's just quickly go over to here. Yep. These change every month. I'm not sure if that's going to change in the future, but as of now, the things that rotate in and out, they are around for a full month. You could wait until the end of this month, then make a decision if you actually want to jump in and buy. That might be the smart way to approach things, okay? But if it ends up like Rust, well, it'll be weekly then. I'm not sure if we're going to get to that point. We'll see how it goes. But just to remind you, we have permanent skins that do eventually get removed, it seems, but it might take months. But these are around for just 1 month. So, cool. Understood. Just wanted to make sure that we're fully well aware of this. So, cool. Right then, so we'll see how it progresses. I'm not sure if we see similar things like we do with Rust skins, but hey, we'll see. We shall see. Right. So, keep an eye on this. And don't forget to jump in on the 28th of April. But now, let's also just quickly look at some of the skins. So here is the Cardboard King. So many people talking about this. Right now, it's got a listing of 400... I know that's someone watching me right now. Right, before this individual decided to list theirs right there, it was sitting there at 450. Also, let me go showcase to you the recent sales, because I have some extensions, such as Steam Inventory Helper and Augmented Steam, If I showed you the lifetime sales, it looks like that. If I show you the liquidity, it looks like that. Do you notice how, on average, it might sell just a few a day? Yep. So here is 3 sales, 2 sales, 4 sales, and then suddenly when there's tons of hype, there's so much of it I can't see. I can see here, though, that is 11 sales on April 16. There's only a few thousand of these that are bought, but it is already ridiculous. It has already quadrupled in price. But it did peak over $500, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, you can clearly see it was peaking, and then it started going down. Has it stopped going down? I'm not sure. But again, if this game does prove to be quite successful, okay, we'll see how it goes. Because then we could have genuine demand. Imagine like some sort of FPS, a Call of Duty alike, where it's with sausage people, and you get to be the sausage guy with a $500 hat. Well, there you go. Now it's interesting, isn't it? If that happens, maybe you might get people making their very own TF2 or Overwatch style game. Marvel's Rivals? Anyway, you get the idea. Cool. Now, another thing I thought I should take a quick look at is, of course, the Lunar Mask. So, before my most recent video, I made a video like 2 months ago discussing how we're getting closer and closer to what could be the release. And then, of course, we found out it's going to be the 28th of April. But when I made that video back in, February time, I was looking at the Lunar Mask. I was thinking, well, I've sold quite a bit too much. It's a bit goofy. It's still a limited skin, you know. It's a holiday skin. I did go ahead and buy a bunch of these. Well, that doubled in price. But, you know, how's it been recently? Here's the funny thing. Before we had all this hype, it was actually going up in price regardless. So then we got like this, I'm going to have to say it, this bubble. It's quite bubble shaped. But, it, you know, for a few days, it like goes up almost twice in price and then it goes back down again. We're basically back to where we were slowly going up from. We could eventually go back up to this price again, around $30, but it's going to be a lot more slower paced. And you know what? That's more reliable, okay? So it's still nice and it's still in a very good position. It's just, it was $30 at one point. So, cool. Did you sell any? Were you one of the people that started selling their stock? Hey, if you wanted to, it's up to you. It's your choice. And now, Easter Bunny hat and, of course, the nose. Their prices don't seem to be too bad, he says. 468 listed. That's almost the amount of people playing the game at the moment. And then over to here, 379. Ooh. But you know what? I actually forgot. What prices did they sell for again? Well, let's go ahead and remind ourselves. If I go to skins, we can look at the past and we can see, is this in order? Yes, it is. Well, that actually sold for $9.99 and that sold for $4.99. Down 10%, down 20%. Too much of it was bought. That's a shame, isn't it? Maybe in the further future it works out. But, yeah. Too many people jumped in. There's the result. So at least we've learned from this, hopefully. Be wary, be cautious. You don't have to rush into making an investment. But, yeah. Sometimes it might be worth a risk. Sometimes it might be worth to just give it a shot. But too many people did that. Far too many people were fully aware that this is limited time. And, well, yeah, now it suffers from that. So, okay, cool. Understood. Let's just go through some of the details that happened with last week as well. So, I'm going to say it. I'm sure you noticed it was around April 6th, and, you know, let's go ahead and showcase that as well. So let's go to the advanced statistics. Let's go to statistics in general. Okay. Do you notice how around April 6th we suddenly noticed the surge in market activity? I'm sorry, Mr. Vase. I know you don't want this to be said, but it has to be brought up. He very likely was one of the catalysts. One of the reasons why suddenly everybody noticed Sandbox skins. Mr. Vase is a prominent Rust skin creator. He makes fantastic art. Honestly, go look at his Twitter. He makes absolutely amazing works. So, cool, awesome. But he posted this. He bought that for $25. And I know he wasn't bragging. I know he wasn't like, oh, guys, look at this. No. He was just like, oh, well, look at that. He brought up that his skull helmet went from $25 to $160. It got seen by 200,000 people almost. So he might have not have predicted that happening. And, well, he had to follow up with that. It's like, guys, I wasn't talking about investments. I was just like, wow, look at that. Isn't that amazing? But no, it's too late. It's too late. Around 200,000 people, they saw that, and people started to become aware. And then people started bragging about what they had. People started talking about, oh, I should buy this then, or I should buy that. And it's not just him, though. You know, Counter-Strike investors are jumping in already. We talked about Arrow last week in the previous video, how he started to notice. And he gets watched by a lot of people. So that's going to put, you know, that's word of mouth goes around, people will notice. And of course, people on Twitter were talking about it as well. So, you know, let's go over to here. Skins.com. How many people are following you? We see 25,000. Not bad, I guess. Well, it's better than me. Cardboard King Crown. It has surpassed $500. Well, it did. Kind of dropped back a bit, hasn't it? So, yeah, more and more people like bigging it up. I could see this guy over here, Titan Hollow. He was talking about it at one point. So lots of people noticing. Lots of people well aware that for a period of time, Sandbox skins were doing so much better in comparison to Counter-Strike. So that started spreading around. More and more people started jumping in. And yep, here you go. There you go. This guy. He's blaming Arrow about this. But hey, lots of people contribute to this. Me simply talking about it very likely would have contributed to it as well. But, you know, I've been talking about this for about 2 years now, so don't put all the blame on me. Anyway, Price Empire then posts, on April 15, it went from $630 to $340. So that's how that progressed. But then it did recover a fair bit. Developer preview is now over, so people became aware of that. And yeah, 40,000 people get to keep their game. Lovely stuff. Scmm also points out Sandbox skins buying volume from FacePunch has crashed over the last days from over $100,000 per day to around 20,000. It cooled down. I guess you could say it was a bubble burst. However, the prices we're seeing now for a lot of the skins are still better than where they were like 2 weeks ago. That's why earlier I was talking about saying, hey, what, you know, did you buy anything over the course of the past 2 weeks? Did you sell anything over the past 2 weeks? Because that's the interesting detail. But anyway, so yeah, that was noticeable. Price Empire then points out, yeah, well, it was going down, but it went back up a bit. And based on what we just saw a second ago, well, it's down to about $450. That lower listing was just someone here trying to be funny. So, yeah, okay, cool. And then we move over to here. More people bringing it up, saying, oh, well, lots of people had their access revoked. They knew it was coming. If you actually cared, if you were actually like playing this, you'd have known this was going to happen, right? They were telling us, did you buy enough skins to get, you know, keep your game? Anyway, joking. It's $20. I don't think you'll be complaining about that. But again, we need to see how many people are actively playing this when it actually releases. So that's going to be interesting. Apparently, Counter-Strike's also dropping down pretty badly as well. Not fully sure what's going on there. If you're a Counter-Strike enjoyer, please comment below what you're thinking. Oh, and oil. Let's not forget about oil. Anyway, moving on. So, yes. Some of those people out there, unfortunately, had their access revoked. And quite a few people feeling very optimistic for the future. Are you one of them? I also want to bring this up. I saw this guy, they were making a game, and then they got their access revoked. Oh, no. So I think they've got to wait another 10 or so days until they could go back to working on their game. I don't know all the details, but wow. Oh no. I mean, that's awkward. Cool, you'd never have thought something like that would happen to people, but hey, best of luck to you, good sir. Let's see if that works out nicely. You never know. You might be able to, is that a maid? I don't, well, moving on. So, cool, lovely stuff. Again, the types of games that can be made in this, I guess it's just simply down to your own imagination. It's just going to be prop hunt again, isn't it? Yeah, probably. But no, come on. We imagine that there'll be a lot more than just that. I said last week, we were seeing similar designs to like a old school RuneScape style of game. We saw some interesting attempts for 2D platformers and whatnot. Hey, when it releases, start looking around. Doesn't hurt to just hop in and just give it a shot. Like, if you're old like me, you would have experienced like Miniclip. giving a random game a shot and whatnot, you've got time to kill. So, cool, understood. So that's basically what happened over the course of like the past week or so. We saw prices rise up even higher, and then of course went down a fair bit. But now we wait for the actual release. Now we just sit here and we wait. So if you have any opinions or thoughts, feel free to comment below in the video. Yep, just scroll down, there's a comment section. And yeah, it honestly looks like FOMO. It really got into people's heads. And whilst I don't have a proper sort of like a bit of evidence to point out that crypto people are getting involved, I was seeing quite a few comments here and there. Unfortunately, it's not super easy to find like stuff talk about Sandbox super easily. I should have saved it. That's on me. So, all right, cool. Now, one extra thing I'd like to point out, there's actually a brand new Discord server that was built up. Here we go. Sandbox Market Hub. What I'll do is I'll link their Discord in the description. I also have my very own Discord if you go and join that. We have our own Sandbox section as well. But these guys seem to be really dedicated. And, well, there you go. There's Mr. Flox posting my link there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, yeah, if you're interested, if you want to stay up to date with the new skins that are being added, you could get early insight because, as far as I'm aware, they like to upload their things earlier, just before the month ends. So, and, of course, they'll ping you when it actually is released. You get the idea. And, of course, Sandbox updates in general. They've got that all automated. You're more than welcome to come join in. And, yeah, it's not just going to be about skins. I'm sure they're also going to be talking about games that are being made. And, of course, what's fun. You get the idea. Cool. Right. So, yeah, that's it. That is looking to be everything that needs to be said. We've got 10 more days to go. Let's see how many people turn up. What's your estimate? I reckon we'll probably see around 50,000 people. But I also wouldn't be surprised if not too many of them stick around. We need to see new projects being built up, and then eventually, we start seeing lots of people jump in. Last year in Roblox, there was that Grow Garden game that was made. That ended up with over 20 million people playing at the exact same time. We need to see something like that happen. But again, much like what I said with the previous video, you need to see more content creators jumping in, more streamers jumping in. You get the idea. Only then will people on YouTube, TikTok, you name it, only then will they become aware of it, and only then will they feel enticed to want to jump in as well. And when more people are playing, more devs will feel the need to go ahead and make some games in there. It's a very nice, interesting cycle. Please, can you make games with the hats? That's all I beg for, please. Then we can have genuine demand, and then we can enjoy sweet, delicious profit. So, right, cool. Right then, so when this actually releases, I'll put an effort in. I'll be jumping in. I'll be playing some games. Look in the description of this video. You'll see the links to all my socials, notably my Twitch link right there. Oh, wow. And yeah, on the day, I'll be in there, and we'll just like walk around. We'll see what we can find. I'm also aware of like the regular sort of hangouts and whatnot. It might get a bit strange. I'm also aware of certain sections where you can just like view all the skins you have. So that might be pretty sweet as well. So that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. And well, let's look forward to the future.